along the southern lake shore or the river when the waters began to scour their way toward Aquamarine's single ocean, the Amnion. Yet he hoped against hope that the outlets downriver would provide vents for the deluge's energy and mass. The ship was still being battered and shaken, as if fighting her way against some spring thaw in Hades, as all around her washed debris, wreckage, and drowned aquam bodies stripped naked by the force of the waters. Quant called for 10 more knots, but the GammaLAW remained trapped in the flow. Eyewash descended slowly from the zenith. All through the long afternoon the ship fought her lonely battle, frothing the brackish, debris-laced water, while Quant stood at his post and watched out for turbulence-borne debris that could foul or damage the actuators. Unspooling the aerostat to its maximum length had allowed him to keep an eye on the outgushing at the broken dam, but the camera failed to supply him with an adequate view of the falling water level of the Pontos Reservoir itself. A regional map suggested that the floodplain south of Lake Ea would absorb most of the vented waters. The GammaLAW would be safe there, but reaching the floodplain would require squeezing through the narrows of Fluter Delve, where the Dynast Piety IV ruled much as Grandee Weretongue Roads did at Wallwater. As dusk yielded to evening, the ship continued to be pushed kilometer by kilometer toward the place called the Lowdowns at Ea's southern extremity. One supposed that many aboard wondered why he didn't simply drop anchor or even put both hooks in the mud. Not only was the bottom treacherous, however, digging in the ship's heels would make her a target for sizable chunks of debris turned into hydro-missiles by the vicious propellant of the Pontos. 2 hours after midnight, inertial tracking reported that the ship had officially crossed the demarcation of what had been Ea's shoreline only that morning. The swath ship was still pushed deeper inland, with trees and human bodies more common in the water now. As difficult as it was to get a reading through the particulate filth and floating wreckage, it became clear that the bottom was shoaling out. Bowing to the inevitable, Quant countermanded the forebodings of engineering by ordering an increase in speed. Pushed stern first toward the so-called Dales, where the ship was in real danger of being set aground, she waged her battle in good order, and within an hour she appeared to be making headway. Quant noticed Jurassic on the starboard wing of the bridge, training vision enhancers on the water. Moving next to him and following his glance, Quant spotted what the lieutenant had been watching, another drowned aquam. This one, though, was a child, its gender impossible to discern, the current quickly bearing it away. "We came abreast of it and left it behind fast, sir," Jurassic explained with a gulp. I believe we're gaining on the current. Mio Theos. Forgive me for being so happy to report that." He was right. Meter by meter, the swath ship was forging back through the aroused waters. Ea was still rising, but with less force. At dawn, when the ship had recrossed the now imaginary line of the lakeshore, Dextra Haven requested a moment of Quant's time, with a gratifying acknowledgment of how busy he was. Quant teleconferenced with her over the special command circuit from the port wing of the bridge. "I know it's early to ask your conclusion, Captain," she began, "but we need to be thinking about mission contingencies. Is it all over for us on Lake Ea?" Recalling the deep V in the dam, he answered with little hesitation. "Affirmative. For this year at any rate. Once the flood subsides, there'll be insufficient reservoir to keep the lake levels up. Halfway through the dry season, Ea will be a string of shallows dotted with sandbars and islets. We're bound to run aground if we stay." "So it's downriver, then?" "There'll be hundreds of kilometers of navigable water there, even in the last of the big sear." "You realize that means traversing the narrows under the Dynast Piety's stronghold?" "It's literally unavoidable," Quant told her. "His nephew Knocknet was killed during the insanity at Wallwater. The Dynast may very well consider himself to be in a blood feud with us." Quant grunted into the headset. "Then I wish you all success with diplomatic efforts, Madam Commissioner. But we'll need to move soon, the risks notwithstanding."